Hey, I am Jennifer, and I am going to tell you. I forgot that. Hey, I'm Jennifer, and I am going to tell you how at Sarah Smith we implement Georgia's tiered system of support for students. So, step one is select and administer a universal screener. All students K through 5 get the take the MAP universal screener. They take MAP reading growth, MAP math growth, and MAP fluency in grades K through 3. Students who are in DLI also take Spanish reading and Spanish fluency. So we use that data, and we we keep the data management system, so it's housed in NWEA, and we refer to that a lot. APS also has APS graphs, which we use a lot to analyze the data. Um, and the teachers use Infinite Campus once a student is in the tiered process. Um, so we validate and interpret results. Step three, teachers and the MTSS specialist hold biweekly data talks to validate and interpret the results. So they work together during a planning period to do that. Step four, use multiple data points to verify risk. Um, of course, we can't just use this universal screener as the only data point. So we also consider classroom performance for students, um, as well as um, classroom assessments. And we administer some other assessments like core phonics, the MAISY-R, and the MAISE assessment. And we try to use all of those data points to triangulate data for students. Also, at the beginning of the school year, students in grades K through 3 receive a dyslexia screener, and so we use that information as well. Step 5, using data to group students and determine an area of need. So we do this in data talks and in professional learning communities. We meet once a week for 90 minutes with teachers in professional learning communities, and we spend a lot of time looking at data and grouping students into flexible groups and trying to identify whether they need additional support within the classroom or if they need pull-out support, um, just to determine exactly what the student needs. Um, that is where we start looking at who might need to move forward with some interventions. Um, and so, step 6, determine the intervention to address the area of need and implement with fidelity. So, the MTSS specialist, parents, and teachers determine an intervention to support student needs as well as plan for implementation. So, they have a meeting, they have all of the data there, and they determine what the focus is and what intervention will support the student in that area. The teacher implements the intervention over the next couple of weeks. They create a plan for how often and how long the intervention will take place each week. And they also have a plan for step 7, which is progress monitoring. So, depending on the tier and the intervention and the student and all of the things, students are progress monitored either weekly or biweekly, depending on what the need is. Step 8, use progress monitoring data to determine next steps. So, um, MTSS Tier 2 and Tier 3 meetings happen every 6 to 8 weeks. So, in those meetings, all the stakeholders, the parents, the teacher, the MTSS specialist, all get together again and they review the data. They look at more classroom samples since the last meeting. They look at the progress monitoring data and they determine what the student needs. So, are they making progress, and we can move them to a lower tier or decrease the intervention. Or if they're still struggling, we can implement a new intervention. We can change the frequency or the duration of the intervention that's currently in place, um, and determine a new plan for how those will be implemented. So that's what we do at Sarah Smith, and I appreciate you listening.